Hey, what's up, guys? Really quickly, I just want to say thank you so much for checking out my content. I really hope you enjoy. This series is going to be a Final Fantasy XIV Online Let's Play. I do plan on doing the entire series, so please stick around because there will be a lot of content. Beyond that, again, thank you so much for coming in and watching, and I hope you enjoy. All right, take care.
Hydaelyn. A vibrant planet blessed by the light of the crystal. Amid azure seas, encompassing the westernmost of the three great continents, there lies a realm embraced by gods and forged by heroes. Her name, Eorzea. The annals of Eorzean history chart the rise of a succession of great civilizations, each one enjoying an age of peace, the Astral Eras. To date, all have proven ephemeral. In the year 1572 of the sixth and most recent astral era, the Northern Empire of Garlemald amassed a great army at the heart of Eorzea, seeking dominion over all. Rising in desperate resistance, the forces of the Eorzean Alliance met their would-be conquerors in the field. Yet, even as the battle raged, the lesser moon, Dalamud, was plucked from the heavens through imperial machination. From its core emerged the elder primal Bahamut, who unleashed his fury upon the realm. The devastation brought Eorzea to its knees and the era to its end. 5 years have come and gone. The light of life still shines upon Eorzea. Man labors tirelessly to raise himself from the calamity's ruin. The realm is forever changed, a stranger to him once more. Yet heedless of what lies ahead, he shall press on. Spurred by the promise of peace and prosperity. Amid this period of great change, an adventurer arrives in Eorzea, one whose tale is yet unwritten. May he ever walk in the light of the crystal.
the beginning cutscenes, just to kind of get us like into the lore of the game. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. This is my character. We are going to be playing a Rothgar. If you've never heard of them, they are the animal, the lion class, the big animal class of the game. So I've never made one before. I thought I'd give it a shot for this occasion. So here's our character. We are going to be playing a Marauder, which is a tank. So a little bit different from my normal play style, but definitely not something I'm not used to. So let's go.
Here. Here. Feel. Hear, feel, think.
Oi, you alright, lad? You were moaning in your sleep, and sweating buckets besides. Rolling of the ship got your stomach churning, has it? Don't seem like seasickness now that I look at you. It'll be the ether then, I reckon. Some are more sensitive to the stuff than others, see? And we ain't far from Vilbrand now, which is chock full of etherites. No need to fret, though. You'll soon get used to it. Might as well have been bloomin' seasickness. Ship sleeping around like a demented chocobo today. I reckon I might head out on deck, get myself a breath of fresh air. Limsa Laminsa's still a fair way off, in case you were wondering. Seeing as you're awake and all, how's about you keep me company till we get there? Them youngins don't much care for conversation, see? Any road, Brennan's the name, and peddling's me trade. Smell that salty sea breeze. Now then, lad, judging by your unusual garments, I'd say you were one of them new adventurers. Am I warm? I knew it. Going wherever the wind blows, seeking fortune and glory. Now that's what I call living. So long as you can avoid dying, I mean. Ain't no secret that adventuring's a risky business, these days especially. What was it that first attracted you to it? To win glory. Glory, eh? Well, if you're willing to take on them tasks as other folk ain't, an adventurer such as yourself can win fame what coin can't buy. When you arrive in town, you'll want to report to the Adventurers Guild. You can find out everything you need to know about the adventuring business in there. Just remember though, there's more important things than fortune and glory, such as breathing. Ain't no profit in being dead, and that's a fact. Ships off the starboard bow! Pirate colors! Pirates? Bloody hells! Have you no sense? Get below! What is the world coming to? Pirates firing on a ship flying Lominsan colors. Bastards either have a boatload of balls or bugger all for brains. Ye can rest easy, friends. We've made it out of cannon range, and no buccaneer's bark will catch this flighty temptress once the wind's in her sails. That was too bleeding close. Glad one of us kept his head on his shoulders. I reckon I'd have lost mine otherwise. If them pirates gave up the chase, we must be close to port. Let's head up on deck and have us a look, shall we? By the by, is this your first trip to Lominsa? Technically no, but for lore's sake we're gonna say yes. It is? Well then, let this journeyed itinerant tell you the ins and outs of your destination. Lominsa prides itself on being Eorzea's foremost naval power. Weren't too long ago that the place was ruled by pirates, but thanks to the current admiral's civilizing influence, the city-state could almost pass for a respectable nation. You'd never guess she was once a rum-swilling buccaneer herself. Of course, most folk ain't so quick to change, and with a town full of liberty-loving ruffians, you can imagine how many naysayers and troublemakers she's got to deal with, like them pirates who took a fancy to us just now. And if that weren't bad enough, I've heard the Sahagin are raiding the coast just as bold as you please. Them are the sea-dwelling beastmen the locals call fishbacks, in case you didn't know. Ah, at long last, land ho! Behold, Limsa Lominsa, a nation blessed by the ocean's bounty and beloved of Limlane, goddess of navigation.
On a windswept isle in the southwestern corner of the realm, Amidst the roiling waves of the Rotano Sea lies the maritime city-state of Limsa Lominsa. To this haven for bandits and brigands, cutthroats and curs, seekers of both freedom and fortune, comes a lone adventurer. Lone yet not alone, for the hero's arrival has drawn the gaze of the nation's patron deity, Lim Lane. What realm-shaking fate has she descried in the churning waters of this mortal's future?
And here's where we part ways, son. I'm off to the markets to deliver me wares. Then it's onto the high road for me. Here, I want you to have this, by way of thanks for saving me arse earlier. Hey, you never did tell me your name, did you? Well, here's an idea. Become the sort of storied personage I can brag about having met, and I'll consider us square.
Through peril and hardship, discovery and triumph, may the navigator guide this brave soul on his life's voyage. Till sea swallows all.
Hey, you there. I mean you. This is my district, and I make it my business to know all the scum that washes up in it. Ah, an adventurer fresh off the boat, is it? Well then. Allow one of Limsa Lominsa's finest to set you on the right path. Hop to it, lad. I haven't got all day. So. Now then, I'm sure you're itching to explore, but adventurers are required to register their presence in the city. And without a bit of local knowledge, you're like to get your throat slit in some piss-stinking alley. So before you do anything else, get yourself over to the Drowning Wench and enroll with the Adventurers Guild. It's not far. Just head straight down this street and speak with Grafar. He'll show you how to work that big moving platform we call the Crow's Lift, and that'll take you up to the pub. Once you're there, look for a fellow by the name of Baderon. He's the proprietor of the Wench. He might curse like a ale-sodden sailor, but the man's got a soft spot for wide-eyed newcomers like yourself. He'll set you straight. Got all that? Good. Now run along, and may the navigator guide you on your journey. testing really quick. Testing the... I'm still seeing a tiny bit of tearing. Very much, very little. Yeah. It's got us capped out at 58, so honestly it's kind of crazy that I'm still seeing it. Welcome to Limsa Laminsa. If you've a mind to visit the Drowning Wench, the Crow's Lift will take you there. Greetings to ye, lad. What'll it be? Ah, but you ain't here for the drink, are ye? You've come with a mind to try your hand at adventuring, I reckon. Well, you'll find no shortage of work here in Limsa. The name's Baderon, and this most hospitable of hostilities is the Drowning Wench. 'Tis also the home of the Venturers Guild here in Limsa. That's why we've got a desk specially for handling guild business, and why I seem to spend more time saving the necks of whelps like yourself than wetting the throats of me regulars. Venturers have a knack for finding trouble, see? Not that they need it in these parts, on account of there being trouble wherever you look. If you manage to steer clear of the fishbacks and the kobolds outside the city, the pirates on the inside will get you instead. And if they don't manage, there's always the Garlean Empire to finish the job. Oh, no one knows what they're planning, of course, but if they're planning anything, you can be sure it's to kill the lot of us. Aye, this town seems peaceful at a glance, but look again and you'll see a people living in fear of what tomorrow might bring. And who can blame them? After everything that's happened, Eorzea took a mighty blow during the calamity, but our homes weren't the only thing that got wiped off the face of existence by that thrice-damned bastard of a dragon. It took our bleeding memories too, and no one's been able to explain it in a way as makes an ounce of sense. None of the folks what saw it and lived to tell the tale seem to agree on how the tale actually goes. 'Tis all foggy, like recollections from a hard night on the ale. You can imagine why people might fear for the future if they can't rightly recall the past. But there is one thing we all remember, and that's the group of venturers what laid down their lives to drag Eorzea back from the brink when she was bound for the abyss. Well, I say we remember. Truth is, though, we ain't forgotten what they did for us. This goddamn calamity-spawned memory loss robbed us of their names. It won't even let us picture their damn faces. 'Tis like staring at a gull flying in front of the sun. All you see in your mind's eye is a shadow set against a blinding glare. And that's how every bugger describes it, by the way, give or take the odd gull. It's that what's got people calling these heroes, the warriors of light. If Limsa ever is going to put this time of darkness behind it, it's going to need venturers to help banish the fear. It's going to need new heroes like the ones we lost. Maybe one day you'll be one of them, and that's why any aid we can give to a venturer is effort well spent. What say ye, lad? You willing to lend us your strength? Me thanks to ye, and to the navigator and all. I knew she'd steer ye my way for a reason. Ah, but listen to me, yattering on like a sun-touched fishwife. 'Tis high time we got your mark in me book. Put your scrawl right there. Hendrix Blackstone, is it? And a fine name it is. Congratulations, you're now an upstanding member of the Venturers Guild. You there, adventurer. You sailed in on that last ferry, did you not? The captain reported being attacked by a pirate vessel, and several witnesses have testified independently that a passenger matching your description went out on deck mere moments before the incident took place. Sending your friends signals, were you? Now, hold on just a moment there, officer. You've got the wrong bloke. This fine, upstanding young gent is me dear departed grandma's, sister's, niece's, cousin's closest companion. The lad wouldn't be caught dead fraternizing with such unsavory elements. Try unboxing that puzzle. Is that right? You are surely aware of the recent kidnappings? Respectfully, then, we cannot be too trusting of outsiders at a time when the loyalty of even our closest friends is in doubt. Aye, you make a good point there, officer. A very good point. Very wise. You needn't worry, though. I keep one eye open at all times. Me and two more often than not. Now, sir, what say ye to a tankard of me finest ale before you return to your duties, eh? Not a watered-down cup of piss like last time, I should hope. Ain't got the faintest idea what you're on about, officer. The wench might offer some of the cheapest grog this side of the Strait of Murthor, but that don't mean it won't get you good and pickled. And look, there's a chair over there just crying out to be sat on. So kick off them heavy boots, eh? You'll have to excuse these eager, bloody yellow jackets. There's been a spate of kidnappings, see, and they ain't got a clue who's behind them. Naturally, they've taken to clapping irons on anyone who looks vaguely suspicious, which means venturers, visitors, and pretty much every bugger else in this town. Don't take it personal, though. Us Laminsons can be an headstrong bunch of bastards, 'tis true. But given time, will grow on ye. Now, where was I? Oh, aye. Welcome to Limsa, where the sea is as green as the faces of me patrons after a few too many black belly whiskeys. Now, take a moment to gather your wits, and we'll get you started with learning the ways of the city. First level up. Right then, let's start you off nice and easy with 3 tasks that'll help you get used to the life here in Limsa. Firstly, if you head down a floor, then point your nose to the west, you'll get an eyeful of the great glowing crystal in the middle of the courtyard. That's an aetherite, a device what can move you from one place to another in the blink of an eye. Ain't no swifter way to travel, providing there's an aetherite where you want to go, of course. Have a chat with the yellow jacket on guard down there and you'll be treated to a lecture on the workings of the device. Before you do that though, remember to touch the thing. Strange as it sounds, it won't work till you have. Second on the list is the marketplace. You'll find weapons and armor and all your venturing bits and pieces for sale in the district that lies beyond the aetherite. Don't go throwing your gill around just yet, though, or you'll get fleeced quicker and you can say, "Why is me coin purse so light?" Have a word with Swosebleeds instead. He's the head of the Merchants League, by the way. Give him this old octant, and he'll treat you well. For the last of me helpful hints, I suggest ye meet some fellow axe wielders at the Marauders Guild. I guarantee you'll learn a few new tricks for swinging that head splitter of yours if you join their crew. While Thoda at the front desk is the one to get you started. Got all that, lad? Seeing to them 3 tasks takes you on a little jaunt around the city and help you work out where everything is. Now, I'd best be getting on. Run along, eh? Bugger it. There I go, sending you off without telling you something crucial. A bloody calamity's made a right mess of me memory, I swear. Well, that or the ale. Any road, while you're out, if you happen to pass in any poor sods that look like they might need your help, consider giving their tale of woe a listen, eh? Sounds like a chore, I admit, but you never know what interesting opportunities could be lurking out there, just waiting for you to stumble on them. For example, Nania over yonder's been casting glances at you since you waltzed in here. Why not lend an ear and see what she has to say? Aye, you're like to find yourself running odd errands in the beginning, but once you build a reputation as a man folk can trust, the jobs will get harder and the rewards more generous. If you've the time, I'd also seek the advice of the smith here in the Winch. The lads as bear that title have some fine advice for them what's just starting out in the profession. And that, my lad, is how you go about becoming a legend among venturers. To leave the drowning wench, you must accept the quest making a name by speaking with Nania. Well, would you look at this? A shiny new adventurer. Listen close, lad. I've some information that might just help you put your name on the map here in Libsyn. I was passing through Bulwark Hall below not long ago and saw a bunch of herbs scattered about on the ground. Now, I'm not entirely certain, but I think they might have been the black market wares known as dream flowers. Limsa is a busy port, and not all the merchants that blow in across the strait are above board, if you know what I mean. How'd the plans end up in the mizzenmast? Who knows? Might have been a deal gone bad. The important thing is you make a name for yourself by handing them in. Speak to Skinrio and she'll get you down to the first floor. Then all you have to do is pick up the herbs and take them to Aldskiff at the Octant. Being a worldly captain, he knows a thing or two about such shady goods. Yes, I am Aldskiff. You have some herbs you wish me to examine? Yes. As you suspected, these are the highly illegal blooms known as dream flowers. They are the prime ingredient in the creature of somnus, a substance whose fragrance is said to lull the sniffer's mind into the sleep of death. Forgive me, I could not resist the jest. These herbs are not more than Althic lavender, a common enough export from Limsa. In fact, these probably spilled from crates that were loaded onto my very own ship. I think someone has been having a bit of fun with you, son. But not to worry. You've learned a few things and made a new acquaintance. Well met. We are going to be focusing only on the main quests. I'm not going to really be doing side quests. Just a heads up. Ah, another novice adventurer. Aye, Baderon has sent more than a few of your kind this way of late. I am Sundamal, one of the Yellow Jackets tasked with keeping the peace in the city. It is also my charge to provide guidance in the use of this device. Fear not, I shall be brief. Aetherites are crystalline structures that tap into ethereal energies. They are primarily used as a means to travel swiftly from one place to another. Return and teleport, the most common transportation spells, make direct use of the Aetherites and their connection to the flow of ether. And as these devices are found in almost every corner of Eorzea, any adventurer worthy of the name will wish to seek out and attune himself to each one. Once you have expanded your horizons beyond the walls of the city, you will soon find yourself performing the act of attunement as a matter of course. There is, however, no need for unseemly haste. The Aetherites found in and around the city will be sufficient for the present, I assure you. Should you wish to learn more about the Aetherites or transportation magic, I will be here to answer your questions. Return learned. You attune with the Aetherite and you are now able to use the return spell. So, this is return. It says instantly return you to your current home point, which this Aetherite is considered our home point at this very moment. Fine day to you, sir. Welcome to the most replete marketplace in the grand realm of Eorzea, where every shelf groans under the weight of wonders born from all four corners of the world. Pray browse the stalls until your eyeballs ache from ogling the overabundance of unbelievable bargains. Now, as much as I would love to elaborate upon the unrivaled quality of our merchandise, I must tend to some cargo but recently arrived at the docks. You bear a gift from Baderon? Whatever could it? Ah, my octant. By the navigator, I must have left it behind in the winch, along with a week's pay and several bells worth of intoxicated memories. I am most grateful to have it back. This tool is a keepsake from my days as a ship captain, you see. Needless to say, your good deed must be repaid. And what better recompense than the wisdom of a master merchant? If it is simple and sturdy adventuring equipment you seek, you need look no further than the east and west arms of Hawker's Alley. Lest you doubt, each gil you invest in arms and armor will be money well spent. Adventuring is, after all, a dangerous profession by its very nature. It goes without saying that Hawker's Alley boasts stalls specializing in the tools of every martial discipline imaginable. And within but a few steps are bazaars and apothecaries that will most amply supply all your potion and perishable needs. Our keen-eyed agents procure a frankly befuddling range of wares during their sojourns to distant shores, so it pays to become familiar with the type and price of the goods offered by each stall. Such knowledge will serve you well if your purse is light or your time is short. Ah, but verbal instruction of this kind will only profit you so much. Experience has ever been the surest teacher, if not the kindest. I invite you to explore the markets for yourself. Now have access to the Ethernet. Yeah, okay. These are just smaller versions of the Etherite crystals. You can find them all around all around the city-states. So we're gonna kind of just wander around attuning to them while we're doing the quest, the main quest. Ho there, adventurer. Curious about the Marauders Guild, are ye? Any axe worth swinging needs 2 hands on the haft, and has a blade what can make short work of a galley's mast. That's the kind of weapon our members train to use, with deceptive swiftness and all too predictable force. Are you interested in hearing more, lad? Then why don't I give ye the short version of the guild's founding history, and we can go from there. It all started with ships, ye see. What have ships got to do with axes, ye ask? Well, building them would be pretty bloody difficult without a sturdy tool to lop down trees for timber. And since only the navigator herself knows when a ship will run afoul of a storm or worse, it makes sense for the crew's carpenter to carry an axe on board. Aye, it all started with shipbuilding and ship repair. What, am I boring ye? As I was saying, any tool on a ship can become a weapon, and the axe was perfect for hooking yourself over the rail of an enemy's vessel, letting loose in a whirl of steel, and generally laying waste to all about ye. As more seafarers took up the axe as their weapon of choice, so did the bloody art of the marauder begin to take shape, especially among pirates, where strength and skill decided your place in the world. With an eye to assembling crews of battle-ready raiders, the pirates started teaching the proper way to wield a chopping blade to their new recruits, and that's how the Marauders Guild first came to be. But once the Galadian Accord was signed to unite the Maelstrom and the pirates against Limsa's enemies, the whole game changed. The Accord itself was a dismal failure, of course, but the Marauders Guild was never the same. It was taken over, restructured, and purged of its pirate elements. It has been reborn as an institution dedicated to naught but the teaching of axe fighting. The members of this new Marauders Guild weren't no greed-driven cutthroats, neither. They were warriors who sought to use their martial prowess for the good of society. If mastering the axe is your heart's desire, then you'll find no better arena in which to practice your swings. Think it over, then let me know if you fancy joining our ranks. I have a feeling I'll be seeing more of you soon, lad. Well, we've already made our choice, so... You've decided to swing an axe with the Marauders, then? Yes. Alright then. All that needs doing now is to speak with the Axe Master himself. Sound simple? I've seen folks slink out the door rather than put themselves in the path of that unnerving glare. That's the bloke right there in the middle of the room. Wernzone is his name. Put some steel in your spine and look him straight in the eye when you talk to him. Good fortune to you. Yes, I'm Wernzone. Axe Master, they call me. Not the most imaginative of titles, I agree, but one should not underestimate the value of directness. I welcome your interest in our guild. The art of the marauder is used to rend, to cleave, and to destroy. It is not our way to simply outfight our adversaries. We seek to overwhelm them. A marauder must be the most powerful and enduring presence on the battlefield. We must account for the most enemies defeated. Our role in combat is that of a steel whirlwind, dealing death and destruction without equal. No doubt the question has already been put to you by Blauthoda, but once more shall I challenge your commitment. Are you prepared for the bloody carnage that awaits an initiate of the Marauders Guild? Yeah, of course. Yes. I'm sorry. Very well. Your name? Attend me well then, Hendrix. Hold fast to this moment of dedication. The path of the Marauder is a jagged and perilous one. The blood that spills at your feet will ofttimes be your own. You stand now as a student of the axe. Let us waste no time in testing the edge of your chosen weapon. You shall wade straight away into combat, and as befits a novice of your discipline. Go forth and slay the bleeding, scurrying, crawling pests that plague the outskirts of Limsa Lominsa. Lost lambs, wharf rats, and little ladybugs shall be your piteous adversaries this day. Return to me once 3 of each creature have fallen to your blade. We have one more crystal to go attune to before we do our class quest. It's right over here. You have attuned yourself to all the Ethernet shards in Limsa Lominsa. The Zephyr Gate, the Tempest Gate, and the airship landing are now accessible as Ethernet destinations. So definitely would recommend attuning yourself to all of them, because then you get extra locations to teleport to, which you now need to go to the Zephyr Gate. Here's a couple of first targets right here. I always thought the way that the Marauders run is so funny. I don't know why, it just looks so weird. There's no reason to lean forward so much. Alright, so now we gotta go back to the Marauders Guild and turn in our very first class quest. You are returned to me a different man. Already your face shows a harder cast, a realization of the slaughter of which you are capable. But there is much training to be done before you will wield the axe to its fullest potential. Learn well your lessons, build your strength, and make of each swing an instinctive act. You shall have this hunting log to aid you in this endeavor. Its pages are marked with opponents suitable for honing your skills. There are, of course, myriad methods by which you might improve your techniques. But when the way forward is not readily apparent, the log provides a reliable source of challenges. Every blow of your weapon will clear another step towards the mastery of the Marauder way. Implacable, relentless, such must be your momentum on both the practice grounds and the battlefield. The next Marauder quest will be available from Learn Zone upon reaching level 5. Which we just got to level 4, and we also unlocked our second skill. So now we have Maim, which is the secondary skill to heavy swing in our main combo. So main rotation combo. Now we gotta go back to talk to Badaron at the winch. Ah, there you are, Hendrix. Enjoy your jaunt round the city, did ye? If ye mean to base yourself in Limsa Lominsa, that won't be the last time you'll visit them 3 places. And now you've got some idea of what's where, you can start exploring the rest of the town. You've shown a good ear for listening, lad. Stick with old Badaron and you'll go far. Still in Limsa, are you, Hendrix? How'd you fancy a trip outside the city walls? I'd like you to visit an orchard by the name of Summerford Farms. Ever heard of the place? The owner, Stillwern, is an old mate of mine. He's got himself a crew of mostly reformed pirate types, if you can believe that, and has been trying to bring a bit of life back to the fields after the calamity ruined the soil. He mentioned needing another hand or two, and your name sprang to mind. I gave ye a glowing recommendation, so make sure you work hard and impress the old bastard. You need directions? The place ain't hard to find. Just take the Zephyr Gate out of the city and follow the road northeast. Easy enough. Alright, whatever. It's a minor little detail. Ah, you must be the adventurer Baderon promised to send along. Hendrix Blackstone, wasn't it? You honored his word, so that's a good start. I'm Stillwern, the old bastard, as Baderon likely described me, and this here is my humble orchard. A good number of the lads and lasses working here once terrorized the high seas, and if you're wondering why I employ these scrags, well, they used to crew my pirate ship. But the calamity did for our ship like it did so many others, and I was sore wounded into the bargain. I had to feed myself and my crew somehow, and Admiral Merlevib's initiative to get us landlocked buccaneers work in the fields seemed too fine an offer to refuse. Turns out you can take the pirate away from the sea, but you can't take the sea away from the pirate. A lot of my blokes just never took to tending the soil, you see. And, unfortunately, the botanists I called in to train them have been wringing their hands in black despair. With so much work piling up, I need a tougher soul like you to step in and help where it's needed. I've a mind to set you a task, Blackstone, but before I do, I need to be sure you're properly kitted out. Pirates don't care to parley with dandies, you understand. It might well be that the ones here have traded in their cutlasses for coulters, but they're still rogues at heart. I know a solid set of gear when I see it. Come back when you think you're more suitably equipped. Equip your head, body, hands, legs, and feet with gear of item level 5 or greater, and speak with Stillburn. Easy fix. Should we need this guy? Let's have a look at you, shall we? Oh, as long as you're this well covered, I won't feel any guilt throwing you to the sharks. Erstwhile buccaneers are an ornery lot. They rage in love for the sea and care little for the laws of the land. But they respect strength and by the looks of you, I'd say you'll have little trouble getting their attention. Ah, Blackstone. That aura of confidence tells me you've not been idle since the last we've met. I hope I've read you aright, for I have a task that requires the attention of a capable adventurer. Might that adventurer be you? Good to hear. Then I shall lay before you the sorry tale. You will have heard rumors of the abductions. Aye, citizens have been disappearing from every corner of Limsa, as if plucked from the face of Heidelberg, boots and all, by an unseen hand. And what's this got to do with Summerford Farms, you might ask? Well, that remains to be seen. But it seems a collection of right unsavory fellows with azure tattooed faces have been creeping up to the edges of the fields and spying on my yeomen. Now, I doubt anyone will enjoy being scrutinized by such savages at the best of times, but the farmhands are convinced that the kidnappers of rumor come for their hides. Needless to say, they're beside themselves with worry, and their work's suffering for it, which is the very last thing I need when my old crewmen are still getting used to their new jobs. 'Tis a struggle to get them to leave the farmhouse of a morning. That is, as they say, where you come in. Would you be willing to investigate these tattooed thugs for me? Good lad. The sooner we get to the bottom of this, the sooner this place will start to resemble a working farm again. I suggest you begin by having a look around Seasong Grotto. If reports are to be believed, our unwelcome visitors have occupied the place. Be careful, though, Blackstone. I couldn't say for sure what manner of miscreants we're dealing with here. If they are the kidnappers, well, just be on your guard, all right? And before we do that, we're actually going to go back to Limsa and do our next class quest, our level 5 class quest. Hendrix, you approach me with a marauder's strides. Determined, unswerving, and bereft of the hesitation that marked our first meeting, I am pleased. The time has come for you to begin a new stage in your training. Now, what sets the axe aside from the gladius or the dagger? It is the raw, unstoppable destruction wrought by its thick, heavy blade, and that overwhelming power can only be properly directed by extraordinary physical strength. Thus, we come to the core of this day's lesson. Such strength as a marauder must possess is developed through a traditional method passed down through the generations of the guild, a method that you too shall be taught to employ. Present yourself to Brownbar in the practice area downstairs, and he shall instruct you further. The Axe Master told me you'd be on your way. Me name's Brownbar. Good it is to meet a new marauder. Now, we axe wielders build strength and control by splitting boulders. That's right. Our traditional method involves smashing a rock with your axe. But you can't use just any old swing. You need to hit the rock just so. Rotgeim, a fellow marauder, is waiting just outside the Zephyr Gate by the bridge over the Rogue River. She'll tell you how it's done. How come I don't get a pistol? Greetings, lad. Ready to split some stone, are ye? I have 3 nice, hard rocks for you to build up a sweat on. Don't try nothing fancy now. Just hit them with a good, solid, heavy swing. That was easy. That's the way to do it, lad. Now you've got the idea. Why don't you have at 'em a little harder with that heavy swing of yours? Hold nothing back. I can see you're a natural. Me head still ringing with the sound of cracking boulder. Take yourself back to Axe Master Wormzone and let him know you're ready for something harder. Has the training loosened your muscles and focused your mind, Hendrix? An urgent request for help has arrived from the Red Rooster's stead, and I have chosen you to respond. It appears a hostile group of megalocrabs has unwittingly elected itself the next test of your prowess. As this is your first outing on official marauder duty, you shall be accompanied by a veteran conjurer by the name of Sulkvid. She awaits you on the floor below. May devastation follow in your wake. Hendrix, I know who you are. My brother often has me escort his fledgling marauders on their more dangerous tasks. I suppose Wormzone expects me to give you the details then. Very well. It seems the farmers need to clear out a megalocrab nest near the Morning Widow in Lower Lenosha. I shall trust you to find your own way there. Just don't forget your axe. Looks as if nobody's home. Mayhap they knew we were coming? Aid! I need aid! Please, it's my grandson. Them snippers have got him. I told Sigurd not to get too close. I told him. Get that weapon ready, Hendrix. We need to move, now. Bugger and shite! Get away from me, you bloody great bastard! Thank ye, mister. I thought I was dead for sure. I can't even play outside no more. What were all these scary monsters about? Me ma and me da, they were both killed by some nasty bugger not so long ago. An oryx, big as a mountain. But I bet you could beat him. Aye, make it pay for what it did to me folks. You take it easy now, son. There's a whole guild full of strapping lads and lasses like Hendrix here who will be glad to do just that. All you need to do is head home with your grandpa. You let us worry about that big, nasty bugger. Consider your first duty a success, Hendrix. It's time you headed back as well. Before Wormzone begins to worry, I've left your corpse for the crabs. So, you have shattered the shells of the megalocrabs and saved the life of a child into the bargain. Thus does our violent craft prove its merit. Well done, Hendrix. Though no longer a threat to the farmers, you should know that it is unusual for such crabs to be found so near the stead. By all accounts, the creatures were ousted from their usual feeding grounds by a more fierce beast. The beast of which I speak is a known terror in the lands of Lenosha, ever seeking to expand its territory. And that boy's parents were but two of the many victims to fall to its rampages. It is a threat that must be dealt with ere long. Do thoughts of vengeance flit through your mind, Hendrix? Nurture those urges, but do not yet act upon them. This monstrosity is far beyond your present skills. If you would answer the lad's cry for revenge, then you must grow stronger. Become the raging behemoth that this challenge demands. Finally stepping out of our beginner gear. Well, our, starter gear and into our beginner gear. Which, I have to admit, I really didn't know if I was going to like the Rothgar, but this looks really good. I mean, it's just a basic beginner gear piece too, so I think I'm going to like this race. Alright, so now we gotta go over to Seasong Grotto and investigate.
I am the waves that bear, I am the winds that guide. I am the evening stars, I am the morning sky. I am born of the sea, and there shall I die. Thus reads the sailor's requiem, carved into yonder stone. Such words well describe the manner in which the citizens of Limsa Lominsa live their lives. It is both a litany against misfortune for those out on the waves, and a prayer that the souls of those who perish on land might find their way back to the sea. Ah, you are the adventurer I've seen around Summerford Farms. I thought myself on the trail of the kidnappers, but it would seem I have missed my mark. Or perhaps not. As I suspected, the etheric disturbance here is no natural occurrence. Nor is it a coincidence that the two of us should come here in search of those responsible for the disappearances, only to be attacked. But who stands to benefit from the keeping of this secret? Oh, such thoughts must wait. Let us attend to the task at hand, unpleasant though it be. Phew!
Clicking is bugging me.
Hear, feel, think. Crystal bearer. I am Heidelin, all made one. A light there once was that shone throughout this realm, yet it hath since grown dim. And as it hath faltered, so hath darkness risen up in its stead, presaging an end to life. For the sake of all, I beseech thee, deliver us from this fate. The power to banish the darkness dwelleth in the crystals of light. Journey forth and lay claim to them. By thy deeds shall the crystals reveal themselves to thee. Only believe, for the light liveth in thy heart. Go now, my child, and shine thy light on all creation.
Awake again, are we? Aha! The poor creature's fury was kindled with cruel forethought. See this blade? I found it in the Gubu's back. I have seen knives of this kind before. They are most commonly used for the cutting of rope. It would appear our culprits are seafaring men of some persuasion, piratical being the most probable. In any event, you seem much recovered from your sudden affliction. I confess, I was rather taken aback when you collapsed at the very moment of our victory. Mayhap a surfeit of ether? I beg your pardon. A towering crystal. I'm sure I don't... Oh! Well, well. This has been a day of unexpected revelations. I must continue my investigation. In the meantime, I suggest you deliver this knife to your patron, along with a warning concerning the pirate's probable involvement in this murky business. The days ahead promise little rest, I fear. May our paths cross again, under the light of the crystal.
Blackstone, right glad am I to see you safely return. My lads were all gabbing about hearing what sounded like all seven hells breaking loose near the grotto, and I feared I'd sent you to your death. If you were in the middle of that commotion, I hope it yielded something of interest. I'd hate to think you'd risk your life for naught. A blade pulled from the back of a creature you slew at the cave, eh? Aye, I'd agree that such a knife would be part of any seafaring man's kit. I'm starting to think that these ruffians or pirates come to lure my farmhands back to a life of plunder. Chances are they didn't take kindly to your appearance on their doorstep and set a maddened gubu on you. Aye, the pirates have been adding to their numbers of late. I'd best warn the lads and lasses in my employ to be on guard against their schemes. you met someone else at the grotto? A woman with a strange contraption. Ah, Y'shtola. She's been in Limsa Lominsa for a good while now. Her studies of the ether often bring her out to Summerford, so her presence at the grotto is hardly unusual. She's an odd-looking lass, I grant you, but she's not the kind to associate with kidnappers. You may take my word for that. Where trust should be lacking is in those yeomen of mine who have yet to wholly relinquish their pirate pasts. The temptation to return to the free and easy life of a buccaneer may prove too strong to resist. You have my thanks, Blackstone. If it weren't for the efforts of stalwart adventurers like yourself, this farm would be in a far worse state than it is. Just you keep on lending your talents to those in need, eh? Help bring Limsa the brighter future she deserves. That sea sloth Severin and his lot, never around when there's work to be done. I'd sooner hire you for the sake of getting things done, but then the rapscallions would never learn. Round them up and let them know that Stillborn would like a word, and don't take no for an answer. Work? Ha! Can't work when me hands are full lifting this mug. You know, I'd wager me last gill you'd never guess what I'm drinking. Swill water? Well, you're right about the swill part. I reckon it might be worth a day of doing Stillborn's chores if it'll afford me a taste of proper grog. How am I supposed to work on an empty stomach? Go on, have a guess at what I had for breakfast. Breaded sticks? What? Gods, how'd you know? It's my breath, ain't it? Probably smells as wooden as the food tasted. But I know why you're here. I'll just as soon get some real food in me. But I am one to reject a summons from the captain. Axes were made for splitting skulls, not stumps. You know what I did in my sailing days? Wonton slaughter? You bet your beard I did, lad. Aye, those were the days. I reckon now I'll have to be satisfied taking my axe to the trees. So he was just like a murderer, just a roguish murderer. I mean, most pirates are, aren't they? So, Stillborn sent you, and what do you reckon I say to that? Work is for the weak and witless. Damn right, didn't get where I am by taking gruff from any glorified gardeners. But I suppose I could see what he wants to get him off my back. I'm Severin. You the old man's errand boy now? Tell my dear old captain not to wet his britches. I'll be along. Oh, and just so we're clear, I don't care for landlubbers. Find the chocobo you rode in on and ride on out. Alright, well. You continue to impress, lad. All but Severin are accounted for. It's no fault of yours, he squirmed out. I've let that worm wriggle through my fingers more times than I can count. But rest assured, the next time I see him, I'll put him squarely in the dirt, where all such worms belong. It pains me to say that all the gil in the world can't buy loyalty. There are some, like you, who can be trusted, but then there are others. Until now, I've had no choice but to rely on that charlatan Severin, even though I'm full aware he's been doing shady deals behind my back. More than once, I've heard tell of improper trading with goblins. I wouldn't be the least surprised if that were happening right now. Not a bell ago, a sack of oranges vanished, as did Severin. I want you to find and confront the bastard for me, Blackstone. I'm sure there's wrongdoing afoot, so be sure to doubt anything that comes out of his mouth. What's this now? Stillborn sent you for the oranges? Huh. So the old bugger had known all this time. Ugh. What does it matter anyway? Listen, you're one of those goody-goody adventurer types, right? Go rescue me mates from those double-dealing goblins. They're just over yonder by the bonfire. Severin sent you? Huh. The way he flew out of here, I was sure he'd sold us down the river. If you hadn't come, my dodo would have been cooked. Cooked dodo. I owe you one. Would have gotten away myself if not for Severin shoving me aside. You saved me mates, and for that I owe you. Suppose I should be ashamed I couldn't clean up my own mess. But a pirate knows no shame. I've no qualms about going back on my word. I'm only giving you this sack because I like the cut of your jib. Take it to Asan and send him my regards. What have we here? A delivery from Summerford Farms, and as scheduled? Huh, that is a first time for everything. Well, look at that. Not a single one missing either. About the only thing not here are those bagmen, and I don't miss them one bit. Here's Stillman's payment in full. With you, I can trust it'll reach you. Back in one piece. That's a relief. How did you fare, Blackstone? Oops. Ah, this is what I was aiming for. Looks to be all I was owed. Alright. Though I'd be telling you false if I claimed I had not held out more hope for 7. I was even willing to overlook the skimming off the top, but to sell us all short in favor of those godforsaken goblins. I totally skipped up that last bit. Sorry. Alright, I'll just... You do well to mind yourself around that 2-guild cheat. If he'd leave his own mates for dead, there's no telling what he'd do to you. Give me just a second, guys. Alright guys, there's a few graphical settings that I need to update, and I'm also looking to increase the volume of my microphone. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut the stream for the night here, and I'm going to mess around with a couple of things, and hopefully the quality will be a little bit better tomorrow. So until then, I will see you guys later. And I promise I'm not going to delete this video. So good night, thanks for joining me, and we will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.